Have you ever played a game that has totally enveloped every single aspect of your life that you just sort of drowned in? As you're playing the game, it just engulfs you in this ever flowing sea of things that need to get done, and you're enjoying it day in and day out. Now, describe that game. Well, to me, that's Satisfactory. And the simple answer is it's a factory building game with exploration and a ton of creative building possibilities. Similar to a realistic version of Minecraft, with a lot less toxic children and a lot more math. Oh crap, did I lose some of you? Honestly, the game is like being sent to another planet all by yourself where you're an unpaid intern and the only thing you have to do is just build. And I guess it's that freedom that really sets it off. Not to mention the love and care that was put into this game really shines. But that's the short answer. The long answer is much more complicated. And honestly, if you got the time and want to hear about it, let me begin in explaining how much I love this game and how well it was put together. This is So first, I think we need to talk about the premise of the game. You are a space pioneer sent to an alien planet to gather resources and teach the local wildlife religion and culture. Just kidding, but you will terraform the planet of all natural resources like a hot dog eating contest, and you don't have a gag reflex. Each and every node you find will be like a Pokemon in the wild, and you gotta catch 'em all. That being said, you are expelled down to the planet in a dropship, hurtling towards your unpaid inner ship, while an AI voice in your head tells you, "Who's a good boy?" Think of it like if Elon Musk and Amazon worked together to create their own new company, stocked with its own cyberwagon. Not to be confused with a Cybertruck. That's different. But, lucky for you, there's a little PowerPoint presentation about what you need to do while you're descending to your impending doom, with lovely graphics and a safety poster you can't read and have to dismantle the first chance you get. Now that you're on the planet, we need to equip our Xeno Zapper. That's right, knowing that we'll be on an alien planet filled with hostiles, the company, Fix It, has given us what equates to a taser and about as much training as your average rent-a-cop. So, that leads me into our first two main focuses of the game. The world has been handcrafted, and this allows us to see a majestic beauty of the game and even some floating anomalies here and there. The team's graphic designer really put their heart and soul into the environment, and it really shows. I mean, where else would you see a rock-hard penis erect in the desert that you can't blow up, and once you see it, you can never unsee it? And don't get me started on the Flaccid Archipelago. Each biome has its own distinct feel and natural ambiance. Whether it's a lovely forest with glowing coconuts and some prehistoric trees, hashtag bring back the willows, or a sunny coastline with a waterfall and some rock formations I'm sure someone would try to do a BMX trick riding down, or to the rocky desert with some interesting orange cacti that seems to have gotten a bad case of chlamydia, and finally to a swampy biome desaturated filled with terrors and still safer than Australia or Florida. But that is just some of the many world traits you will come to know and love and not care about your third or fourth playthrough, because in reality all the maps in the starting screen are just different parts of the whole map, and you can visit any of them from any save at any time. But then there's the wildlife to contend with, and trust me, they are not pushovers. Just to start off with, you have your non-aggressive creatures like the beanbag chair with the giraffe legs you can use to play bouncy castle with. There is the most uncomfortable tropical bird that when it stops should be in the subreddit "Don't stick your dick in that," and the most adorable lizard doggo that not only can you tame and name, but it will bring you amazing things around the map you didn't even know was there, like nuclear waste in a barrel, and you just got it here, and you were just at this planet. Who is putting nuclear waste in a barrel and leaving it around? Kids these days, so disrespectful. But those are the good ones, and the game holds some more vicious creatures. And unless you want to play in Canada mode, you need to be prepared. Remember that taser? Yeah, it's not just for show. You're gonna need it. There are purple cabbages that will pop up and release fireflies on kamikaze missions to take you out. Or how would you like this amazing horse thing that will spit harder than a hooker saying no takesy backsies as you deposit a load in her mouth? But on the bright side, this one is pretty colors. But it can also spit off just like the hooker's one can. Don't ask me how. Then we get on to Crabs, the warthog doll that will circle you until it finds its weakness and strikes with the ferocity of 1,000 pokes. And this one comes in Mother of the Year and glow stick variety, but all of them pale in comparison to what really lurks out there. And no, I don't mean the giant floating manta ray in the sky. That's just a government drone anyway. No, I mean something worse. Something far worse. The spiders. That is right. The worst enemy of the game is an 8-foot-tall arachnid with the ability to jump further than a cat scared of a pickle, and some can even gas the area worse than your grandpa when he said, "Pull my finger." These monstrosities will hunt you down relentlessly until you are a shriveled up corpse in the web of lies. And don't get me started if you have to go back once you died for your belongings, and now it's guarded by the beast of horrors. Lucky for us, they did put in an arachnid mode. Turn that on and all the spiders will be turned into 2D kitchens, which I am not ashamed to say is much more scarier. I mean, killing a spider, even PETA wouldn't blink an eye, but a 2D cat? Let's just say you want to turn on peaceful mode for that. So I know what you're saying, the world looks great and is full of terrors, but what about the game? What do I even do? Well, if you weren't paying attention to the PowerPoint, like I said, it's a factory building game. The female voice of Mark Zuckerberg in your head tells you that the company needs you to keep manufacturing different items. As you get said items, you send them to unlock the ability to make higher grade items, until you are making parts to build a giant food court in the sky. Yeah, I wish I was joking, but that's what the devs said, and who are we to question our overlords? You start off mining with the most adorable little portable miner. Isn't he cute? You want to pinch his cheeks, but they're made of metal. And grab basic rocks to make simple items to upgrade your hub and build a space elevator you will need about 4 times in your life. Yeah, I wish it was more, but who knows, maybe later we could have it as a paperweight. Then you learn the basics of automation. Honestly, if you're terrible with the numbers, you can just overfill it to the extreme and hope for the best. Just treat it as a game of whose line is it anyway, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. But speaking of the points, as you make such unique mass production items, you can send them into the trash compactor and start getting in-game tickets. What do these tickets do? Well, none other than give you fabulous prizes, like a golden factory cart or a cyber wagon. Hey, Elon Musk will be proud. Or you can even get a statue where I'm all by myself. The possibilities are finite, and there's only so much they have for now. But that doesn't mean that the factory will grow, and so will your ability to buy more things. But here's the thing, do you really need to be alone? Can a friend help you? Do you even have friends? Well, once I get friends, I'll tell you. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, we have the ability to work as a team and invite our friends to our base, or even host dedicated servers to hold down the fort where everyone is welcome to join the fun. That's right, you have the ability to go to work while one or more of your friends build something you wish they didn't, or take a node you really need. Or, more than likely, build a penis on the map somewhere for you to find at the worst time. Remember, they're your friends for a reason. But luckily, as boring as all that sounds, there's another section of the game that most people who play for 500 plus hours found, and it is the best. I'm talking about building. Yes, building weird, crazy, and half the time, things that look amazing but don't do jack diddly squat. You could spend your time making the factory look like a prison, or a castle, or a cathedral. You can even build a house with a kitchen and a beachside view overlooking the world you're destroying. You can make animals out of beams, a cyberpunk inspired city, and even conveyor belt tornado the size of the space elevator, or hypertube launcher to get you the other side of the map or into oblivion. Now, all that being said, we still not going over the story. And for a game like this, the story will be something that you want to experience for yourself. Having the AI yell at you, harvest, or comply, over and over again in your voice that I can only describe as you telling your dad that you're going out dressed like this and he's telling you to go back to your room and change. It's that subtle undertone that really sets you off. Like it feels dangerous. Like, what are they really gonna do if I don't listen? You know what I mean. But this game is far from perfect, and I know I have not convinced everyone here to try out the game, and I probably won't. But it's an amazing game, and I just want to go over a few flaws that might take you away from wanting to get it. So, first things first, the game does not have a killer soundtrack like something like Doom or Borderlands would have, that music that makes you want to destroy everything in your wake. Unless you count the GOAT music, which you can play from the boombox, but I doubt you will. The music that in the game is rich and inviting, giving you something to listen to besides the voices in your head, so you can design another factory that you swear won't turn into a rectangle, but let's be honest, we all know what's going to happen. Second thing, there is no endgame content for those that are not obsessed with making something bigger, better, or less penis shaped. You can brute force your way to the end problems. You can handcraft almost anything to the point where you don't even need machines except for the space elevator parts and maybe a few things here or there. You can even get a group of friends to do all the work while you go around just smacking bugs. But if you don't feel like building once you're done, that's it. The game doesn't have any objectives or any milestones to hit once the game is done. With the right automation, even if you're producing a small amount of stuff, you can leave your computer on for weeks at a time and you can still win the game. Now, on the other hand, if you're very creative and love making things, there's always something to do. The game has the best building mechanics I've ever seen, and even the smoothest movement for player experience, but if your goal is to hit that next milestone or that next number, then unfortunately there is no endgame content for you. Next thing we need to talk about is computer limitations. Now, not everybody has a massive supercomputer, and if you want to create something bigger and better, well, you're going to need one. Well, that being said, Coffee Stain did make the game relatively well for potato computers, and even some computers that you can get off a Best Buy shelf will work pretty well in this game. But if you do want to get that big, massive build, you're going to need something that can withstand the power of it all. And lastly, I know few people will not like the fact that the devs have come out publicly and said they will not be adding certain things into the game, such as base defense or real wear and tear for your machines, or even a flushing mechanic for the bathroom that's inside the drop pod. But that being said, the modding community has got your back, and the modding community is a very, very big community that is willing to put the time and effort into some amazing things. They have added in tons of different stuff that you can add into the game that really expands the richness and the flavor that you can experience while playing the game. So, in conclusion, Satisfactory is a great game for creative people as well as those go-getters. If there's an idea that you want to do, you're more than welcome to do it. The freedom of the game is its best aspect. You're allowed to do what you want and how you want to do it. The game gives you incentives of things to do. Hey, I need this many rods, I need this many heavy modular plates or stuff like that, but it doesn't tell you exactly how many machines to build or how to build them. It lets you come up with that conclusion yourself. It gives you the freedom to learn exactly how the stuff is to build and what you want to do. What do you want to focus on? How do you want to get there? Do you want to handcraft it or do you want to make it automated? The sky's the limit. The game also has plenty of game modes for any player. Like, you can turn off animal aggression if you don't want the animals to be doing anything or don't want them to attack you. If you're just in it for the building, then go for it. Don't worry about this one giant spider coming and attack you. Turn it off, get rid of it, not a problem. Or you can turn it to more of a survival aspect if you prefer it, because the freedom of the game is there. The game also allows you to turn on realistic lighting, so you could be outside and it could be brighter than the blinding sun, yet inside darker than the darkest void. You know, like real life and whatnot, where your eyes have to adjust to that kind of level and everything, but it also allows glowing and all different aspects, and it gives it another element to building and another element of freedom that you're able to play. I also can't go without mentioning the fact that there's a community that is attached to it and is one of the most wholesome communities I've ever been a part of. If you have a simple or what might seem like a stupid question, you're more than welcome to ask the community. The community is willing to help you in every way that it can, because we all understand what it was like when we first started building. We understand that not everything is straightforward as it might seem, and there are tons of tutorials out there to show you exactly what you could do, but you can always go and play it yourself and see how things go. There's no wrong way of playing, as Let's Game It Out has really shown. You can do whatever you want and you can still win the game. Not to mention that the developers are a part of this community as well. They have weekly streams where they go over questions and answers to how the game is going, things that people are like curious about with the company and everything like that, and they even show off community highlights to see what people are doing in the community and showing other people what they possibly can do as well. It's really great if you're going into there and you just have your own little bubble to see what other people are doing that you might not normally see. They even call out some content creators for other people to check out and things that they're doing so they can see what the community is about. So if you want a fun and calming game, this is the game for you. You can build towards whatever you want. You can take your time. You can put the game down for months at a time, come back to it when you feel like it, and it'll be right there for you. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I've never seemed to be able to put this game down for good. I always seem to want to come back to it, try to build something new, and see what else there is that I can do in the game. If you're creative, this game is amazing, and there's not much more I can say. But other than that, I am drawing chaos. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. That seems like something that would probably help my channel grow. Speaking of growing, you can also leave a comment on how you feel about this video. You know, this is my first chance really going in depth with something like this, and my first review of a game. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1 million subscribers because I live in Delusion Land. And of course, don't forget to like the video if you've had it. Yeah, I mean, if you made it this far, I mean, the least you can do is give it a like. I appreciate it. But other than that, you all have a wonderful day, and pioneers, build out. Or wait, I don't know. Whatever. Have a good one. Bye.